All right, hey everybody. Happy Saturday to you. Um, Hopefully you're all watching my screen right now. I'm gonna share this with the good old page over there, Brad Linder Creating Comics. Uh, Let everybody know we're live here. We're gonna hang out and draw this card today. Gonna take a few minutes and knock it out. Hope everybody's doing all right. Hope everybody's gonna come on and dig it. I got the camera still high from where I did the page yesterday, the page commission of the Black Panther. So it's a little higher than usual, a little further back, but we'll get right into this thing. I'm getting a notification here. Hey, Christian. Thanks for coming on. Just started knocking this thing out here to get this one underway. Like I said, I still got the camera set up a little high from last night's live where I did the Black Panther Friday commission, and I got Elektra underway as well, which I'm going to be doing that one a little bit later. Pretty cool stuff, man. I've got everything going on. Now, as for Dr. Fate, this is a Golden Age character that I am just getting into. I used to read it when I was younger, quite a bit, but I've gotten out of that because they've changed him so many times, and I got away from the stories because they just got really odd. It wasn't the mystical type stuff that I was used to from the older stuff. It was more of the, primetime villain type of stuff that we see with every other character, and it really didn't have a lot of depth to it. I was always more of a fan of Mr. Miracle instead because it went more sci-fi than mystical, and I got Doctor Strange for my mystic fix, so I was always more into that. And yeah, a lot of people freak out over that stuff, and they're just like, well, you can't go off and say you like one and you don't like the other because they do the same thing and whatever. And people get a little bent about that, but it's like that old DC Marvel rivalry, which isn't in existence other than the fact that they started it to sell books. So it cracks me up because people get bent about that. And it's like, it's not Doctor Strange, man. It's not qualified as mystery and suspense, and it's just not. So people get ticked off about it. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, I never even learned this guy's origin. And I'm sad to say that, I've had a couple people tell me they were going to yank my comic card away from me because I didn't know exactly how he came about. And to this day, I still don't. But I've always found the character fascinating. And as a mystical character, he just is just extremely, extremely cool. I resonate with all that stuff because I just like it. It's something that I'm into. It's like sci-fi for me. I really dig it. I'm really into it. And I need to develop a better relationship with this character. This one was a suggestion by one of the fans from my friends list, and he said, you need to get into this character. This guy is not as lame as people think he is. And I started pulling out some of the old books before I drew the card and whatnot, and he's not. It's really not. It's a very underrated character, and I've discovered that just recently. But I'm gonna have to go out to the comic shop or whatnot and start picking up some old issues. And I've also got to get some of the trades and stuff and start picking up on this character because yeah, I've been missing out. This dude's pretty awesome. But I love the fact of his Egyptian connection. Excuse my throat here. For some reason, my allergies have just been digging at me today. So bear with me, but I got the old throat lodgings in, and we'll see what happens. But I'll try not to spend the whole thing clearing my throat. But yeah, this dude right here, he's a great character, and I wish I'd gotten into him sooner, especially now that they're talking about canceling his series again, if it's not already canceled. They were talking about it over at DC a month or two back, and I don't know if it's already canceled or not. I called the local comic shop and picked on the guys a little bit, and it's like, hey, man, why didn't you tell me about this great book? And they're like, well, you can come see what we've got, but I think that ship has sailed. So I'm not one to know everything. I don't claim to, nor do I try. And this is one of those rare cases where one slipped through the cracks on me. I'm going to have to catch up with this one before it disappears. Because with Marvel and DC trading up the way they are, you never know what's going to fall off and never be seen again from those guys. So, but at least it's a good Saturday run, right? I'll be able to draw it up and learn it and possibly, maybe even get a title out of it and save a book. Wink, wink, DC. I know that's not going to happen because they're not going to hire me, but that's okay. I'm still figuring out if I'm on the blacklist or not. I have a great group of friends that professionally draw for them, and whenever work is mentioned, they cringe. So I don't use and abuse my friends that way. But as far as Marvel and DC directly go, no one's giving an answer. So I'm taking it that it is a yes, that I am off that bandwagon. And I'm on their bad list. I'm on their naughty list. But that would be due to the fact of my podcast talking about them, saying, that they made mistakes here and there. And it's the truth. So if that's what they did, that's what they did. But anyway, no one will ever really know except for them, and they're not going to speak anything because that would be discrimination. And they don't confess to that because they wouldn't do that. But who knows? It could just be a farce and say, hey, we lost your email. So let's see what happens. Maybe something will work out. But working for the big two isn't necessarily on my radar, so I'm okay with that. I know I joke about it all the time, but people seriously ask me why I don't work for those companies, and it's not that I haven't attempted to do regular work for them. It's just they don't notice me as much. And maybe that's because I'm so outspoken on things, but that's okay. I have a place right out here too. You guys are with me. So, hey, Brian, thanks for coming on, man. We'll see where it goes. But like I said, not picking on anybody or anything crazy like that. I make fun of it because I don't believe that there's a hidden agenda, but you never know. Am I one brave enough to talk about it? Absolutely, if it's there. But once Marvel goes down, we're going to have to figure out what's going on with all this stuff and see where everybody's at, because the distributors are going to have to change their game for sure. So they're going to be looking at all the independent guys and going, what are you guys doing to save your business? Because we locked you out for all these years, but Marvel and DC aren't with us anymore. And oh my God, what's going to happen? Because we can't distribute digitally because we'll lose all our traffic and all our stores and whatnot. And we've got exclusive contracts. So, but whatever. Yes, I said it. Nobody else will say it, dadgummit, but I will. All the professionals I know are cringing. Stop it. Mute him. Mute him. Unfriend, unfriend, unfriend. That's okay. If that's their choice. But anyway, all joking aside, I have nothing against Marvel or DC. And I hope they get themselves straightened out because their books are a mess right now. My only problem is that I'm not a fan of the Marvel Now stuff, and I'm not a fan of the current DC stuff. The artwork looks a lot better at DC, but the stories are still really random and weak, and that's because of the continuity or lack thereof. So, canon being thrown out the window. Warner Brothers said, hey, Marvel did the Marvel Now, so let's do a 15-year toss-up and do Rebirth. And we're going to fix everything and jam it up and then say it got mixed into a timeline, a swirly, and this is what we got. And that's where the modern DC universe is, unfortunately. It's the best and worst of everything that they liked or didn't like in the New 52 and the original pre-Crisis and 15 years ago for Crisis 2. So they've had Secret Wars at Marvel that do the same thing over and over and over. If you get caught up, you just go for a Secret War and erase timelines. So, I did it once with Firestorm from the beginning. I went in and blew up the universe. Blew up Earth and blew up the rest of the universe and said, okay, this is the way we're going to start. And that's what Firestorm really is. It's a timeline jam of its own reality. And the reason I did that is so that I could create the characters that I wanted to, whether they be original characters that creator-owned stuff that I've done from scratch, or a lot of my characters, like Catman Evolution, being based on adaptations of public domain characters that were trapped, where you had to do either full on-guard style and go specifically for pulp reproductions of what they had in the public domain, or you have to spin off an original adaptation, or you had to do them in the original form that they were in. Now, if you do the adaptation, the problem was, excuse me, let me get something to drink. There we go. The original adaptation problem is that you had to use them in an adaptation of the original character, or create them as an original offshoot mock-up version or spoiler version or cloned version of the original. Okay? That's the way public domain works. So you can make another character, say Plastic Man's in domain. You can make Plastic Man, the Adventures of Plastic Man, the New Adventures of Plastic Man from the original, change the cover because Plastic Man itself is trademarked by DC, so you can't use it on the cover, so you have to make up a long tail extension of it, and then come into play with a different name, the Adventures of Plastic Man, or Plastic Man, the Modern Adventures, or whatever you want to extend it and call it. You can do that. You can also call him by his name, whatever you want to call him, and call him Plastic Man as a spinoff or an original remake. But it's very hard to make those campy characters from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s match up to original vibrancy of modern characters. It's just dang near impossible. So what I did was I created the Firestorm timeline and was able to reinvent them from the ground up as an alternate version and create whatever I wanted. So now anybody listening to this, if you do that, I'll bust you for plagiarism, so don't do it. But my attorneys will be happy to do so please don't do that. But I do say take the public domain characters and make your own version if you can, or retell the stories, or better yet, make your own original character based off of the idea of a public domain character if you get involved with that stuff. But, I'm an advocate for that. I wholeheartedly believe that that's a cool way to go. There's room enough for everybody. Everybody in the 50s knocked off everybody anyway because they had like 80 publishers at the time. So everybody was doing everything anyway and making their own version. Even DC did that because they took Catman, the original Catman from Holyoke. They stole him, cloned him in the 60s, and made him a villain for Batman. You guys can check that out. They fight a giant cat together. It's weird. On the cover of it, it's got a big giant ghost cat face. It's a tiger face kind of thing, but it looks more like a house cat rather than a tiger. So, you can check that out and see what's going on there. But not the same character as mine. I based him off of the original Holyoke character and created a whole new timeline for him. So he's nice and original and clean. And if you check out Catman Evolution as books, you can check out my website to see where those are. You'll get a whole different approach to it. So be sure and check that out and understand what's going on, because it's there, man. It's there. But anyway, this isn't a pitch fest. As far as Dr. Fate here goes, I'm really gonna have to dig into this character because he's awesome. I don't know, like I said, I don't know that much about the dude, but I've picked up on a couple of issues since, and like I said, I got an order being pulled right now so that I can check it out thereafter. And I think this dude might be worth digging into and checking out for myself there to see where it goes. Let me see what's up with this. Okay, cool deal. Sorry about that. Had somebody popping on, and I want to make sure that everybody's hearing me okay and all that. Bear with me just a second. So, anyway, yeah, I really, really dig this dude. Now, when I color this, I'm going to put this power energy mark around this, and it's not just going to be floating there. I'm not going to draw it, though, because I don't want to mess it up, and I want to leave that to where I can just color it and be done. So that's the reason for that. But it is what it is, folks. So I'm happy with it. It looks decent. There we go. I'm going to shadow and tinge this one side a little bit. I know it's not perfect, but I want this to be like energy and like it's hand done. Like it's a hand piece he's generating rather than, like it's ancient, rather than just calling up the symbol and making it perfect, which is strange to me. Because when you call on something ancient and elemental, why would it be perfect? I just don't get that. I mean, when it's been out there for thousands and thousands of years, or at least hundreds of years, things start to get worn down and porous and whatnot. And I just like the idea of him calling on a symbol from an actual artifact, and this being the silhouette or an energy version or spectral version of it, and that being where it's at. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something that I find cool. I'm going to do this kind of psychedelic fog thing like they used to do in the old comics whenever all this stuff would come up. This was big in the 60s, and just had this cool fog thing going on about it. And I just want to do something very simple. That way we have a background. And we can say this is done. Then I got to get back over to this Electra and a graphic novel that I'm working on this afternoon, and some fun stuff with comics that I got going on, because everybody wants to know what I'm doing. I've got a really big graphic novel coming up, and then I've got Catman #4 coming out as well. Not this week, but next week, this coming week. So I got to get on the ball for that, because I was going to do it this week, but with all the storms and stuff, I got delayed because of the fact that we had some power issues and stability issue, power stability issues, and I wanted to make sure that everything got done. And I wanted to get my client projects and commissions out first to make sure everybody was covered, just in case we went down. which we didn't in the end, so that works. We have the nice big blue bright chest right there down across the bottom. This will be golden yellow, as it were, and this will be some kind of green or purple or something going on back there to liven that up and lighten it up. So, and Marcel, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I'm about to get this bad boy finished up, and we're about to get out of here. I think that's pretty cool, man. I'm going to call that done. So I'll bring it up to the camera. Like I said, I'll put the camera back down where it was so you guys can see the card and whatnot. But in this one right now, this is where I had it for the big picture here. So back to those pages. What do I have coming up tomorrow for Sunday? Sunday. Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. I'm doing an Aquaman tomorrow. That's awesome. All right. So we've got Aquaman coming up for tomorrow. I'll check you guys in, and I'll post the Panther and the Black Panther and the Elektra for the Friday giveaways. I'll post those probably Monday, so if not before. And I might even do a live this afternoon on the Elektra, just to drive Kevin crazy because he was so adamant about getting on that win. He put like 50 emoticon likes across my screen the whole time, and it was just a blast. But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.